Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of the Republic, may we please stand up for the singing of the national anthem of Zimbabwe. We will be accompanied by the Churchill School Pipe Band. Thank you very much. If we can please sit down. Thank you very much to our entertainers of the day, the Churchill Boys High School Pipe Band. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Churchill Pipe Band. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to Zimbali Gardens this morning for the launch of the album Regai Dzive Shiri, which is under the theme, Your Child, My Child. The album songs on it against child abuse, against forced marriages, against child labor. We'll hear more from those who were actually involved in the composition and arrangement of the album. But I want to say thank you very much and greetings to all of you, all protocols observed. Our roads are now in a relatively good state. In the past, it was difficult to say all protocols observed because sometimes you hit a nasty bump on your way to the event and your mind wants to say all potholes observed. But now we can say protocols. So all protocols observed, but let me say, among the people that I recognize now, I know that we'll have some representatives of ministries coming later, representatives of Childline Zimbabwe, Girl Child Network, and various other ministries. But I recognize right away from the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, Mr. Robson Mandu. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Mandu. I recognize a familiar face, also linked with the broadcasting station, Maichi Samba, Chiringazwa Chakwata. Thank you very much for gracing the occasion. Other representatives, please don't worry. You will be mentioned as we go along. It's a longish day, so there will be time enough for all of us to get the honors. But thank you very much. It's a worthy cause. Just a note on housekeeping also, the toilets, the amenities, if you go out, there's a door on the right there. The toilets will be facing you. Just mind the steps, particularly if you are one of those who can't be called lightweight. Just mind the step there. I had a bit of a problem with it. But if you don't look like me, then you should be okay. Thank you very much. We now proceed to the formalities, and we will begin with welcome remarks by those that brought us here. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause to our horsepower giants. And representing them is Engineer Regai Dzive, who will come up now and launch the proceedings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A very good morning to you all, our distinguished guests, the guests of honor, Her Excellence, First Lady, and the patron of Angel of Hope Foundation, Comrade Auxilia Mnangagwa. Representatives from the government ministries here present this morning, we welcome you all. It is a huge honor to have you all here. The Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and also the Minister of Health and Child Care, Honorable Comrade CCG Chiwenga, and your representatives here this morning. The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services here present, the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, thank you for gracing this occasion also. The Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and the representatives. The Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises. The Minister of Youth, Sport, Arts, and Recreation. All government ministries and institutions here represented, you're welcome. Non-governmental organizations, all here represented with us, we say thank you for gracing our occasion. Various humanitarian organizations here present, we also welcome you. The engine that drives the industry and commerce, the captains of industry, and all the corporate world, thank you for being with us here present as well. The churches, no nation can survive without the involvement and strong participation of the church. Your presence is greatly valued. We are blessed to also have you present here. The media, all media houses, all radio stations, television stations, newspapers, and all online pages and newsrooms. A great welcome to you all. Artists, you're not the guests. You are the hosts. We are in the same bracket. You are the center of the attention here today. And thank you for being here. I would also want to thank the presence of Evelyn Kachirekwa, who happens to be my wife, my strength, my partner, and my friend. This is all your achievement, and had it not been without you, the success that we read today would not be what it is today. All family and friends, Power Giant staff, and everyone here present, as you continue doing the great job which you are doing on a daily basis, we thank you. I will not take much of your time. I will have to introduce to you the man standing in front of you. My name is called Regai Kachirekwa. Regai Kachirekwa is standing right on the ground which he grew up 40 years ago. I grew up here at Honeydew Farm. My father was a farm manager here. I went to Green Grove Primary School, then later on to Ore Boys High School. Managed to do my electrical engineering looking in terms of high voltage lines construction. But why is Regai standing in front of you? And why is Regai talking to you? Regai is a victim of child abuse. When I was growing up, I never tasted what some of you tasted, which is called happiness. It was always a moment of sorrow, a moment of being beaten probably 4 times a week for no apparent reason. Only to know the reason years later that my father thought I was not his son. So all the anger and vengeance would come straight directly on me. So why I chose to stand in front of you and to let you know why we took this initiative, it is because I understand what is called abuse. You might all stand and say we're defending child abuses in this country. But the only person who can explain about child abuses is that girl or that boy who has been abused and is the one with the real story. The stories that we write in the press at times might not be the correctest versions of child abuse. Child abuse is better spoken by that man or that boy, that woman, that girl who has been in that situation. My first attempt to be removed from this planet, I remember very well my mother telling me it was 2 weeks after my birth, when my own dad decided to end my life. It is an emotional speech based on a true story. I am a survivor. I want every parent out there, every mother, every father to treat your children very well. You don't know what they will be like tomorrow. You never know. They can be the next ministers, the next presidents of this country. And today, as I'm standing in front of you, the journey was not that easy. There is a road, which is a dust road, which is just outside this building here. That's where I used to sleep. Whenever they decide that today you're not going to sleep in the house, I'll sleep in the bush out there. Lucky enough, this farm was working very well. And I had my own tactics to survive. I survived. At times, the water that you have just given me here, if I'm found drinking it, it warranted me for a thorough beating. Because at times you're not supposed to eat without their permission. You can imagine, at the age of 11 years, that is when I started knowing how to look after myself. Yes, they did send me to good schools. Sometimes I'll say it was better to go to a school which was not beautiful, with no thorough beating. When I'm talking of thorough beating, I'm talking of your father putting his foot on your neck, making sure you lose breath. That's abuse. Government officials here present, now we are telling you, those that sow abuse. We don't want organizations that pretend to know abuse. We are here, we are better to explain it to you. I want to thank God Himself for making sure that today I'm standing in front of you. Being a strong man, see my tears coming out is because the emotions, they'll stay in you forever. If you were abused enough, no one can come and tell you to calm down. At school, I'll be very ashamed to be with other children because they would have witnessed the way I would have been beaten by my father. That's why we decided, and I decided, to take my own personal funds, which were not enough, so that the message can be spread across the world and across the country, to let you know the magnitude of abuse, what it leads to. It leads one to drugs. I thank God I didn't take drugs. It leads one mom to be a murderer. I thank God I didn't become a murderer. It leads one to be very aggressive in everything that you do because you would have inherited a defensive attitude for yourself in order for you to survive. Ladies and gentlemen, I am leading an organization or a company called Power Giants. The giant at the end of the name Power is through what I went through. It explains the strength that is in me. You can leave me in the middle of a jungle. The next thing you'll find me in the streets, because now I am strong. But why am I telling you all this? It is so that you understand the depth of abuse, what it means. I have a mother who's seated right in the middle of us here. After my parents divorced, I thought I was liberated from abuse, but little did I know that the world was waiting for me to abuse me more further. Do you know when you don't have anything, Mom, people do not want to be closer to you? I started staying just by the roadside. And it was very painful for people, especially churchmates, to call you a street kid. And it only took the courage of my mother, who's seated here today. You hear her talking. She's the only one who would give me bread in her house. I would go and eat at her house, but the rest wouldn't want to see me in their houses, because I was now a street kid. Winter would come, I had no blanket. No one would give me a blanket. No one gave me food, for the exception of the woman that I called to be here present today, to witness the child which she helped, even on my wedding. Churchmates didn't attend my wedding because I was so poor to be associated with the rich. But today, I want to thank you, especially my wife. She stood with me. We built power giants together. Life is not easy, but today we're celebrating. We say the little that we have, we are going to channel it to every Zimbabwean who is being abused. And today I know there are children out there who are crying. They have no one to assist them. Why I had no one to assist them or to assist me, I will say the truth today. My father had friends in the police, and so no one, I could not go and report there. I was afraid. But my message today, as I'll be closing, may those in the corridors of power, may you use the Constitution rightfully. May you protect us. I survived. What about those that are dying under such circumstances? What are we doing with them? Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, I feel I've said more than enough. My story requires you to be here 5 days, me talking from morning to evening. You all move out of this place shocked, and none of you will eat if I'm to explain what happened in my life. Hence the reason why I said I will speak, and I'm going to take every single cent that is in my pocket, every saving that I have, to make sure I complement the government's efforts to denounce child abuse. I thank you all. Thank you.
Touching personal testimony there from Engineer Kachirekwa, giving us a background to the occasion. The launch of the album Regai Dzive Shiri under the theme Your Child, My Child. Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning I had tried to recognize some people among us, some VIPs, and it did not come to my attention, but thanks to my brother Robson Mando, we managed to conduct a DNA test, and we found out that the person representing our guest of honor is 99.9% with us here. So the alleged person is the actual person. Muchishona trikuti mumiririri we vanoremekedzwa vedu amai Auxilia Mnangagwa vari pano. So I want to recognize, representing our guest of honor, the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Amai Mnangagwa, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. I had not met you, so may I say congratulations on your appointment. Having said that, I have a few children who want places, so I'll be coming to the office. Thank you very much. We continue, we've heard from Engineer Kachi, specifically, forced marriages, child labor. We will have two more people who are part of the support structure that has been around Engineer Kachirekwa and Power Giants. The first is someone who fellowships with him, somebody from their church, the Zimbabwe Assemblies of God Africa, Zayoja, Mrs. Rumbidzai Katsande. Mrs. Katsande, please, if you can come up and give us a few words, Mike Katsande. And then after Mike Katsande, we'll also hear from somebody who knows Engineer Kachirekwa.
Thank you very much, the Master of Ceremony. I would like also to thank Dr. Evelyn, representing our mother, First Lady Auxilia Mnangagwa, our distinguished guests. I want to thank you for coming to this event. I have known Edzeka. When I met him at church, and I was also young. If you see that we are not, I'm the mother who was being talked about, but not being a mother in terms of age, but in terms of the fellowship that I held with Edzai. I've known him for 30 years. I think God helped me to understood his story, and we were, myself and my husband, we were helping him out, not because it was my will, but it was God's will. I give God glory to that. I have seen him doing things that I cannot explain here. I have seen him living by the tuck shop there. We used to give him our irons, and he was also repairing our stoves, our kettles, you name it. But for me to see, for me, it's a very big miracle. So I want to thank God for his life and his wife. His in-laws are here. I want to thank God for them as well. For friends and the Power Giants team, I want to thank you so much. I don't have much to say, but save that, just want to pray for me to thank God enough. I want to pray for this occasion. Allow me, Master of Ceremony, to pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, remain forever. We thank you, Father, that we have seen you. We have seen your mighty wonders and your miracles, oh God. Father, I respect your presence and I respect your Holy Spirit so much that you continue, Father, with the power giants, you continue with the Kacherekwas family. We thank you so much, Father. We have so many children that are being abused. We thank you, Father, that you continue to heal our nation in this platform. Thank you, O Lord, and we glorify your name this afternoon. Thank you, and we give you glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you. Dr. Sora, please. Dr. Sora. The Churchill Pipe Band, where you Churchill Pipe Band? We'll have the Churchill Pipe Band, then tweak the program a bit and allow our guest of honor to speak, then proceed with the rest of the program. So, Churchill Pipe Band, while we're waiting for Churchill Pipe Band, do we have a representative from Childline Zimbabwe? Thank you.
A very good morning to you all. My name is Tafara Macheka, and I'm from Childline Zimbabwe. I would like to say all protocols observed. Childline Zimbabwe is a private voluntary organization that has a vision to see a Zimbabwe that is passionate about the protection of children, guarding, championing, and protecting their rights. We're very honored to be part of such a great initiative, as a Zimbabwe that is passionate about children starts with steps like this that begin to notice that children have a need, and the need is to promote and protect their rights. As Childline Zimbabwe, we encourage communities that protection of children is everyone's responsibility. We need to be conscious about protecting children. Protecting of children starts with being able to report any case of child abuse or maltreatment of a child that you can see in any way you can go. So we provide child-friendly reporting platforms for children to be able to report any cases of child abuse. We believe that child abuse destroys a child's life and it destroys the future of a child. Hence, as Zimbabweans, let us cases of abuse that we are receiving as Childline in Zimbabwe, the perpetrators are familiar faces. We're talking about people that share a meal with the child, people that the child sees on a mostly daily basis. So it means that the fight against child abuse is real, and we need to join hands as Zimbabwean communities to protect children. As Childline in Zimbabwe, I mentioned earlier that we offer reporting platforms for children. We also make reporting of abuse very, very easy for everyone because our reporting platforms are confidential and they are safe. You can always make an anonymous report if you see a child that is in need. We have our 116 free phone, which is a 24-hour service that children can use to report abuse. This platform has been also recognized as a national emergency number in Zimbabwe that communities can make use of. So before I sit down, I just want to encourage everyone and say, Let us join hands and protect children. Protecting children is everyone's responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The representative of Childline Zimbabwe there. We will now have the Churchill Pipe Band. Gentlemen, please come in for the musical interlude, and then after that, the landmark address. So for now, the Churchill Boys High School Pipe Band with a musical interlude. Thank you very much. Churchill School Pipe Band Mazita will be calling you a bit later. We will be calling you after the landmark address by the guest of honor. Mazita, no, come go managoga. Can a pipe bigger? Wagasi kusutwe era woman. Agasi kukuraga. We are going to go pipe big pipe. Thank you very much, guys. Don't go far. I'll be calling you again shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming today to the launch of the album Regai Dzive Shiri, and the theme, Your Child, My Child. As I said, we've tweaked the program around a bit so that we can capture the landmark address, and that's what we have now. Then we also have, after the landmark address, a discussion on the issues of the day: girl-child abuse, forced marriages, and child labor. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure and honor to introduce our guest of honor for the landmark address. The guest of honor is the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Amai Auxilia Mnangagwa. She is represented today by the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Evelyn Love. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome the Minister.
Good morning, all. Our Master of Ceremonies, representatives from the various ministries here present, hopefully they are here, representatives from the Office of the Vice President, Comrade Dr. Constantino G.N. Chiwenga. Also here present, I'm informed, are representatives of the following ministries: the Ministry of Home Affairs and International Relations, the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and the representatives of Ministry of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation, the Ministry of Women Affairs, Small and Medium Enterprises, I think it's Community Development, somebody wrote and left that. The Ministry of Primary and Secondary School, which is my ministry. All other government institutions that are here today, NGOs and captains of industry supporting this industry. It is such an honor and privilege to be here, and I want to congratulate you, PowerPoints, for all you have done to let child abuse prevention and advocacy be one of the top priorities of your administration. I would want to applaud the music industry for adding their voice on the prevention of child abuse. Your capacity to influence behavior change cannot be underestimated. Let's continue to have different voices, including curbing this device. Parents, teachers, and the society at large must work together in protecting our future leaders. The laws are there to protect children, and what is needed is to ensure all cases of abuse are reported to the police and other government institutions. As a mother, I strongly condemn any form of child abuse. When a child is abused mentally or physically, their performance is affected, and it is our duty to ensure children are protected against this. I have been making awareness campaigns and advocating for the end of child marriages, especially early child marriages. And there are areas now known for child marriages in this country. Some of the reasons for early child marriages are religious beliefs, traditional beliefs. We must condemn this. I am happy that your song, Regai Dzive Shiri, aims at addressing child marriages. It is important that children are taught the importance of reporting such cases. We know that sometimes society protects perpetrators of child abuse. But if the girl child is empowered, she will definitely make a report. I would want to warn perpetrators of child abuse that the long arm of the law will catch up with them. Apart from child marriages, there are other forms of abuse that include rape, physical abuse, and emotional abuse, among others. We need to work together and address this problem, which is affecting our children. I would also want to talk about another form of abuse that has affected our children. It is drug abuse. Some children are forced into drug abuse because of emotional or physical abuse they face at home or at school. It is also disheartening to note that some adults are supplying drugs to children. Such people must be reported and arrested and brought before the courts. I have a call center in my office where all forms of abuse, including domestic violence, can be reported. This call center protects the identity of those who give information, and it has proved to be effective. So those who would want to make reports may call on a toll-free number 575. I'll repeat, the toll-free number is 575. Once again, I thank you for adding your voice to ending child abuse. I thank you. Attend school.
Thank you very much. Our guest of honor, the representative, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Evelyn Lovu. Thank you very much for making time to come and give for us the landmark address this morning as we launched the album Regai Dzive Shiri. We wish you all the best in your new appointment, madam, as the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. Musakanga no kusiya cell phone number, did Thank you very much. We have the album launch. We are saying, what is the album? How did the album come about? And we all want information on the album. One of the people who was key in the album was Minister Michael Mahendere. So I'll call upon Minister Michael Mahendere to please come up, tell us how you came up with this song, the inspirations, the muses behind it, what informed it, what drove it, and also he will take that opportunity to introduce us to some of the musicians who are here present. Kana uri wanononzi Mahendere kana kuti inozonzi Hendere? Wega uri Mahendere futi? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Mahendere.
Thank you. Our MC. Can we remove the B on your surname? Awesome. My duty at the moment is very simple. All protocol observed. I believe I'm going to come back again with another presentation. But I'm just going to introduce the musicians that are here today who are part of this song, Regai Dzive Shiri. These are very powerful musicians that we have in our nation. They've made our nation to be on global map, and they've shared positive message, and they've brought joy in our lives and in our houses. So I came up with the song, and I have a co-writer, which is Kevin Gumbanjera. He's the one who did the writing of the words, and we worked together. Thank you, sir. Present is Sandra Ndebele. I saw her. Maybe you can just stand so that we can see you. Let's appreciate her. Thank you for putting your voice, for putting your art, and for spreading the message that we want to go across the country and the world. We also have the powerful family, Tendai Manata and Selma Manata. Selma, you have changed your surname to Manata. Makashinga, are you? Can we change it back to Mtukudzi? Which? Tendai is powerful. Awesome. Present as well, we have Fungisai Mashawawe. There she is. Thank you so much. It's part of the song. She's very powerful. Awesome. And we have a new face as well on the song. That's Taren Da. That's the guy who is there. Awesome. And we also have a great worshiper as well in our nation, worshiper Larry Gunda. Most of you know him with the gospel power. Thank you. There are some fellow musicians who are not with us today. That's Anita Jackson. She's part of the song. We also have, let me try to look at my list. Mike and Mbali, they are not present. Music producer Nigel Nyangombe, Joseph the saxophone, Madiwale the drummer, COG Beats the sound engineer, mixing engineer, and we recorded at Naletha Studios. Tari G Fingers, the lead guitarist, and the visuals were done by Simba G. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Right, so now we know who is behind the song. Minister Michael Mahendere and Kevin. And we have also been introduced to the musicians who took part in that song. They'll come back later. We'll have them again later, the lineup. as we launch the song towards the end of the program. Thank you very much. The launch of the album Regai Dzive Shiri, Your Child, My Child. We want the Churchill Pipe Band, musical interlude, and then we'll have that discussion with representatives of various organizations and ministries that are involved in the whole area of the girl child and the protection of the girl child. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget the themes of the day. So for now, Churchill Pipe Band. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, the Churchill Pipe Band. We now move to a discussion which will be chaired by radio and television personality Candice Mwakalie. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for Candice. Do you want to introduce your panel, or should I do that for you?
I will let you introduce them.
So Candice, she's going to chair it, and those that are coming up for the discussion, please, as I call you, if you can please move up to join Candice on set. The headmaster, Churchill Boys High School, Headmaster Churchill. Sorry? He left. There was a senior master? Anyone from Churchill that they can represent him?
We have a representative from Churchill Boys that could join us.
Then from the Agape Family Care, Mr. Nyadembera. Wanyadembera. Don't tell me he has also left. Mr. Nyadembera. Ministry of Information representative. Minister of Information representative. Maichi Samba. To join Candice. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for Maichi Samba.
Thank you.
Right. Chiringa zochakuda kuzokwata manje zvoba chatruka. You'll have to use the steps right at the end there. Right at the end. Mike Samba is up there. Minister of Home Affairs, somebody representing Minister of Home Affairs. Minister of Home Affairs. Shamari Yemanaskana. A representative from Shamari Yemanaskana. Please to go on stage. Shamari Yemanaskana. Shamari Yemanaskana, thank you very much. Somebody from Ministry of Health and Child Care? Somebody from Ministry of Health and Child Care?
May we also have a student from Churchill Boys, one of the band members, please? If they can hear us, one of the band members, please can one of them come up?
Childline, Childline? I know you spoke, but you can still join the discussion. Childline Zimbabwe. Girl Child Network, you can also join the discussion. It's live, so we want as much input as possible. Girl Child Network. Mrs. Nyirenda, are you here? Thank you, ma'am. Sorry. There's a girl from Roosevelt Girls Eye. Please. Somebody from Roosevelt, yeah, please, if you can come up. Thank you very much. I think that's a full house for Candice. And they can have the discussion.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We do have our panel in place. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today will be a very important day as we start to discuss issues around child abuse, especially in our communities, in our schools, in areas that should be safe havens for our children. I have a panel of esteemed members who will take us through this discussion. Thank you very much. So what we're going to start off with is just a very quick introduction to each and every one of them so that you are familiar with who you're talking to and we can understand their input from their perspective. And I will start off with the young students coming all the way to Mai Chisamba. She may need no introduction, but we do want her to introduce herself regardless. All right. So as you're done, please just make sure you pass the microphone down. Please may I have sanitizer? Sanitizer, because this microphone is going to pass through several hands. There was a gentleman who was holding a bottle just now. Please may we have the sanitizer and just sanitize everyone. We are still living in times of COVID-19 and we must of course remember to be as cautious as possible and keep all of us safe as best we can. All right, so you're going to introduce yourself. And then you're going to pass the microphone down. So your name, your age, and your school. All right? All right.
Morning. My name is Farah Njelali. I'm from Churchill, and I'm 18 years old. Thank you.
Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nyaradzo Chukumbu, and I'm in Upper 6, Roosevelt Girls High School. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Regai Nyirenda. I'm representing Girl Child Network. We are based in Chitungwiza, and Rusabe and Wange.
Good morning once again. I'm Tefera Macheka, and I'm from Childline, Zimbabwe.
A beautiful morning, everyone. My name is Florence Motake. I'm representing Shamari Manaskan.
My name is Rebecca Chisamba. I have a special mandate in Zimbabwe. My mandate is to promote all the 16 local languages and to uphold our progressive cultural values. This is the reason why I don't speak Ndino Taura. Thank you.
All right. Please can we give them all a round of applause? Please can we give them all a round of applause? All right, so to begin this discussion, I will start, of course, Mai Chisamba. Patinotarisa nyaya dze-child abuse muma communities. Tichitarisa basa renyu, you've been in the media industry for a very long time. Chi chamungati chiri kutitadzisa kudzikisa ma numbers edu e child abuse muma communities vaskana nevakomana.
Zvizhinji zvandiri kuona zviri kutadzisa takabva pane mararamiro edu sevanhu vatema. Tinoti kuzvara kwemumwe kuzvara kwako. Pamusoro pekuda kutarira zvinoitwa nemamwe marudzi takasuduruka pazviri. Nekuti kareko nyaya idzodzi dzakagara dziriko, asi pamusoro pekuti vanhu vaibata pamwe chete, iye zvino zvaakuita mazvake. Saka kana tiine misi mikuru yatinofunga sanhasi tichitarisa mwanasikana, tiri kungoramba tichingotarisa mwanasikana, tiri kutarisa divi rimwe chete.
mwanasikana uyu tikamutarira iye tikamuyambutsa ko iye ari kumutotonhesa ko iye ari kumunetsa mukomana nemurume tiri kumusiya sei ngatisimudzei mhuri pamwe chete ndozviri kutidzikisa izvozvo.
All right, thank you very much. Shamwari Mwanaskana and Childline, I believe that we have, if I'm not mistaken. Please, could you just take us through some of the forms of abuse, what we classify as abuse among children? Let me start off Shamwari Mwanaskana and move on to Childline.
Okay, thank you so much, Candice. There are several forms of child abuses that can be subjected to children. I've deliberately said children because these are forms that can be perpetrated against boys and girls. But I will speak more on the forms of abuses that are mainly perpetrated against girls. We have recently had and seen, even through the media, cases of girls that have been forced into child marriages, early marriages, and under different circumstances, be they cultural or religious. This is one major form of violence that is perpetrated against Vaskana. This is a situation where we find Mwana Muskana being entered or being forced into a marriage at below the age of 18, which is unconstitutional because Mutema wedu muno Zimbabwe says, the constitution says, marriage starts when one, either a boy or a girl, turns the age of 18. So the minute that one enters into an institution of marriage, at below this age of 18, it becomes a child marriage. We have also seen a different form of abuse that is being perpetrated against Vaskana, which is a form of sexual exploitation. Sexual exploitation can be a form of abuse that is perpetrated for a transactional reason or purpose. This is where a man or a boy takes advantage of a girl child over the situation that they are currently in. It could be a poverty situation, a lack situation, or different situations. So the transaction occurs the minute that the man produces a monetary token to a girl for a sexual favor. There is also other forms of violations that we have also seen Vaskana being subjected to. I'm sure we are aware of the past cultures where we would find families preferring to send a boy child to school over a girl child. The minute that a girl child drops out of school or is forced out of school, it also becomes a form of abuse. We have also seen several health rights violations that also occur against our girls. Apandukutaura nyaya yema rights anobata utano wemwana msikana. You will find kuti sometimes there are cultural beliefs, there are religious beliefs that deter or deny or present barriers for girls to access some of these services. So I'll close at this and I will leave my colleague to also touch on the other forms of abuses that I have left. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Childline?
Thank you so much. Just to add on to what my colleague has just highlighted. So with the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've noted that cases of violence against children have increased, especially looking at issues of sexual violence. I think we all know that ever since the COVID-19 lockdown started in March 2020, children started to spend more time at home, and they were then logged in with perpetrators. So we then saw the increase of cases in terms of sexual violence, and we also look at issues to do with cases of physical violence, whereby children are being beat up to all extremes. Another common form of abuse here in Zimbabwe is child neglect. I think because of issues to do with parents and caregivers trying to search for livelihood elsewhere, children are being left alone in homes. A number of families in Zimbabwe are child-headed, and when these children stay alone at home, they are now vulnerable to abuse because once children are by themselves, people then take opportunities to exploit and abuse these children. Looking at COVID-19 as well, issues to do with online violence has also increased. Children have become victims of cyberbullying, children have become victims of online sexual exploitation. Young girls, teenagers, have also become victims of what we call revenge pornography that is happening online. So all these are some of the forms of abuse that children are being exposed to. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Our two students, when you are in your school environments, one of the other elements of abuse is also peer-to-peer. It's not necessarily just adult on child. Do you believe that your school environments are protective of children who are more vulnerable, as they tend to be the ones who are mostly taken advantage of and often find themselves in cases that could be considered abusive? I'll start with the young lady.
Thank you. Good morning once again. I think that our school is very protective towards girls who experience abuse. We've got guidance and counselors who are open to us as students. If we're going through things, we're experiencing abuse, we can always go to our guidance and counselors, and they can help us to seek a way forward. Yeah.
Young man.
Thank you. Same case at our school. We don't really tolerate something like that. What we really do is our teachers for GNC, as she said, guidance and counseling. Sometimes they walk around and ask, relative to someone's behavior. Let's say someone does something wrong, we just have to ask them, is everything okay at home? Some cooperate and they tell you their story, and then the guidance counseling teacher gets the parents' phone numbers, and then from there she takes it on. And I believe it's something that we're working towards, and in some cases successful. Thank you.
All right, we have seen, I'm still on the young students, we have seen an increase in cases, as mentioned by the Childline network, that, because a lot of the learning has been online for quite some time, students especially have kind of fallen victim to a new wave of abuse, which is online. And among these issues are issues such as predatory behavior from adults on children. Are you, as peers, looking out for each other and talking to each other and discussing these issues? And have there been any initiatives among student bodies to kind of curb the increase in online abuse?
This sets out to the type of people that we associate with. At my school, I really haven't heard about someone who has been in such cases of online abuse, but it's something that is relative to more than online learning. Maybe something like people who do social media like Instagram, Facebook, things like that. That's where online abuse has been going on, and sometimes it can be even the simplest of things. Maybe your hair is not on point, something's not on point, people just start lashing out. But for online lessons and whatsoever, I really haven't had it.
All right. Young lady?
In terms of online lessons, I have discovered that a lot of students are prone or are victims of online abuse and mental health issues. We find students who are depressed and who are anxious about a lot of things. So we made it a point that we should constantly check on each other. By doing so, we constantly ask each other, how are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling spiritually? And if there's a fault in between those questions, we try to discuss and find out what's really going on and what's causing it. If us as students cannot handle the issue, we usually take it to our guidance and counselors who also help us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Childline, how effective is that relationship between peer-to-peer in kind of alerting us to issues of abuse among children?
Thank you for that question. So as Childline Zimbabwe, we've noted that peer-to-peer interactions are very effective because young people get to relate to each other better, and they get to understand each other better at their levels of development. So peer-to-peer interactions have been very effective. We have been actually running a peer-to-peer program across all our programming areas in Zimbabwe, where we've noted that young people have found it more comfortable to open up about certain issues of abuse. Some of these things do not open up to someone who's older, but if it is being spoken at the same level, they begin to open up, and they even begin to share even deeper aspects of what they may be going through.
All right, thank you. Shambori Mwanesaran, what are some of the links between abuse and degradation in your mental health status?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I lost the last part.
What are some of the links between abuse, a child who is being abused, and the degradation of the state of their mental health?
Okay. So in regards to the links of abuse and the mental health wellness of an individual, these are things that are commonly and largely interrelated. You cannot really divorce the two, because once a person becomes a victim of abuse, be it physical or emotional, there is the effect of that form of abuse reflecting or getting to affect the way a person operates. Usually you find victims of abuses are individuals that fail to relate with others. They are individuals that may be found to isolate themselves from others, which is a reflection of mental health and wellness. Kazhinji, you find kuti when someone is in an abusive space, be it at school, be it at home, or be it in any institution, that person tends to identify or lean on somebody or a support system that they believe they can get help from. And the minute that they fail to trust, or the minute that they fail to attach themselves to a person that they can trust, that person anozvidzosera kumashure or anozvi-exclude from the entire community or the entire society. So we really cannot divorce aspect here, any form of abuse, to mental health wellness. Tinoona kazhinji, you find in some of the cases that we come in touch with, a child may be exposed to a form of abuse, arimodiki, say at the age of 7 or at the age of 5. But it manifests in their adult lives. You find that person becomes aggressive. You find that person anogona kushandisa language iri intolerable pane vanhu, because they are trying to act out on the emotions that would have been trapped for a long time. So a slightest situation that provokes those emotions to be triggered, you will find kuti munhu anokwanisa kuita act out in a way that is unacceptable to other people that do not understand what that individual may have gone through. So there is really no way we can separate the linkage between any form of abuse, especially physical or psychological, with mental health wellness or unwellness.
Thank you very much. Maichisamba, kazhinji zvinonzi one of the early signs of abuse are change in behavior. But vabereki vamazuva ano we are busy. We have a lot going on. Tikushanda, we are hustling, as people like to say. We are trying kuti tibatanidze zvinhu vana vacho vakwanise kudya, vakwanise kuenda kuchikoro. How would we as parents, as modern day parents, start to pay more attention to the behavior of our children and notice the slight changes and to actually take them seriously?
I think we should stop chasing the dollar and have time with our children. Ndinoda kubata futi zvimwe zvataurwa nevaviri kunoko. They touched on mental health. Isusu sevanhu hatisi kutarisa mental health sechinhu chinounzwa nedepression, sechinhu chinounzwa nestress, sechinhu chinogona kuuya pane munhu wese wese because of our beliefs. Zvinenge zvakutariswa kunzi waroiwa, anoda kunoshandirwa, anoda kunodini, izvozvo zvokanganisa vana vedu. Indi zvimwe zviri kuitika zvakare ndezvekuti panapa tiri kutaura about vana, panga pachitaurwa peer to peer, but you are forgetting the parents. Maparents akawanda havasi ve.com generation. The world has gone digital, and the world now is like a global village. Saka zviri kuitika uko ndo zviri kuitika kuno, asi zviri kupindirana here netsika nemagariro edu. vabereki ngavave nenguva nevana. Dzimwe nguva upfumi chaiwo uri kuita kuti tirase vana, nekuti mwana anenge ari murumu make aine zvese, chivhitivhiti chake baba vane zvavo, mai vane zvavo. Tikatedzera kalifestyle ikako, nekuti unogona kupedza svondoka usina kuonana nemurume wako mukazvitedzera. You've got your car, you've got your bank card, you've got your car, your everything zviri individual. Baba vane zvavo, mai vane zvavo, vana vane zvavo. Ngatitarisei vana kuti vari kuitei. Even mazuva ano COVID-19, vari kuita online learning iyoyo. Ndo zvavari kuita here? Nobody checks on them kuti vari kuita here izvozvo. Saka izvozvo ngatizviteedzerei kuti zviri kuitwa. Ngatidzokei zvakare papfungwa yekuti munhu akaona mwana achiabhuzwa kunyange asiri wake ngaagone kumang'ara. Asi vanhu vazhinji sezvanambotaura pakutanga vane pfungwa yekuti unei nazvo, haasi mwana wako, zvazodini. Saka mari yakanaka, kuhasila kwakanaka, kungwavha sezvamunotaura ikokoko kwakanaka. Asi ngatingwavhei tichiziva vana. Iye zvino isu tine maperenzi ekuti munonzwa kuti baba vacho vakaenda abroad 10 years ago, amai vakaenda kusaidi ravo, vana vari vega. Chikonzero chakaburitsa vanhu ndechekuti vanhu vanotsvagira vana mari neupenyu, asi muri kutsvaga mari chete isina upenyu. Nekuti mari handi upenyu. Vana vanoda kutarirwa, vana vanoda kudzidziswa, vana vanoda kupiwa mutemo, vana vanoda kusumudzirwa, because we will lose the future nation.
Tichiri ipapo tikada kutarisa zvikoro zvakuvhurwa izvino izvi, and a lot of children have been stuck in all these situations, some of them very abusive, as has been mentioned by your colleagues. Maticha vane training yakakwana here kuti va-identify kuti uyu mwana uyu zvatakamusiya ari 2019 or 2020 pakatanga first lockdown nezvaari izvino izvi pane zvasiyana. Are they equipped to be able to point to identify those differences and act on them responsibly?
Onku, my teacher, I'm a teacher by profession. Saka I know kuti it's part of our training kana wadzidziswa. Asi chinozoita kuti basa rekudzidzisa rireme. We have very big classes. One teacher, 55 kids. How do you do that? Vana vakawandisa. Teacher ratio ngaitariswe kuona kuti nokuti teacher munoka chamunofanira kuziva ndechekuti vana ava 55 muri kutochema kuti dai zvikoro zvachivhurwa ngavachienda kuchikoro taneta nawo muri kuchema ne3 handiti teacher anenge aine 55 kumba kwake kune zviriko. Saka tikagadzirisa pateacher ratio apa vana vachipawo mukana wekuti teacher agone kushanda nevana. Asi dzimwe nguva tine kamari kedu zvikoro zvimwe zvakudhurisisa zvekuti zvakusarura. Handi munguzoona nekuti kune chimwe chikoro chamunenge muchitonyatsoona kuti aiwa apa pari kudzidzwa zvakanaka, vana havana kuwanda, maticha anokwanirana nevana, asi hamugone kupasvika. Balance iyoyo ikarega kustrikwa zvinonetsa. Ko kana wazviona uine vana 20 vauya vasanduka nekuti vadzoka, unova nguva yacho iri kupi? Tiri kutaura about these large classes and most of them vachine hot sitting. There's no space for the kids. Kuseni vanenge vari muklasi mapinda vamwe vapasi pemuti. Pasi pemuti panodzidzika zvingani. Saka system yedu I think dai iri mota inoda overhaul, inoda kutariswa kuti vana vedu vakadini, zviri kufamba sei, nekuti kare agare ari kare. Ende takuti the world has gone digital. Vangani vari kuafoda masmartphone vana vacho. Baba vacho havana kana chimbudzi, amai vacho havana kana. Kuchikoro kwacho, especially the rural schools, hakuna kana plug inoshanda yekuti teacher vaise nhingi yavo. It's pathetic. Vana vanodzidza sei pakadaro. Murairidzi otora chifoni chake chimwe chete onochaja kuchitoroko. Vana vanofunda sei? Ngatiregei kungotarisa vana vari mumaguta. Ngatiregei kungotarisa vana vane vabereki vanokwanisa. Because mumusoro medu mevanhu vazhinji tirongoti no vana vari kudzidza, vari kuita maonline lessons, vari kudi. Kune vamwe vana vaomerwa, ivavo tovaita sei nekuti hapana chavainacho.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we are out of time, so I will now come one by one again and just ask for final thoughts on how to effectively combat this battle that we have to completely erase child abuse in our communities, in our societies, in our country. Mike Samba, I will start with you.
Musociety medu tinofanira kubvuma kuti takatadza, especially the African parent. Isusu vacho semazera edu isusu, we should go back to the drawing board. Ngatiregei kuita kuti handiudzwi nemwana, ngatiregei kuita kuti handitaurwe nomumwe munhu. Zvakawanda zvatinogona kudzidza kuvana vedu, asi tikaramba takamira takaita stance yekuti handidzidziswe nangana, vana vedu havabatsirani. Isusu senharaunda, sesociety, ngatibatsiranei kuita zvinhu. Munoziva, handisi kuti vatorwa vakambenge vari munomu vanga vari vanhu vari nani kupfuura isusu, asi vanhu vaigona zvemushandira pamwe. Isusu ana sekuru vedu vaigona mushandira pamwe, vaiita hoka, isu hatichagona. Munoziva here kuti former group A schools atinoona iwaya, most of the things, most of the buildings, most of the tractors, the cars, the what, zviripo zvakaiswa nemumwe mubereki kuti ndinoda kuti mwana wangu aende pachikoro pakanaka. Magraundi ese emitambo, mamasports atisingaitai zvakaitwa nevamwe vabereki. Ndozvatinofanira kuti tiite kuti vana vedu vabudirire. Asi iye zvino, we are busy busing the children. Mwana anobva akakwira kombi from Glenora to go to Vainona, ari kutsvaga a better school. Ko isusu vabereki vemuGlenora tikabatana, tikaita something for our children. Takuteera tennis court kakasiya kaiswa naMr. Trotsky. Ndo katiri kuteera. Mwana, vana vedu pano pane abuse. Vana vedu vari kuabuswa kunyange kuma public transport. Anomuka na 3 kuti achakwira 2 buses. Agofamba achikotsira. Vamwe vanozodya kamari kai. Vamwe vana vari kutadza kubudirira pachikoro nekufila inferior. Nekuti munenge maendesa mwana kuchikoro chamusingakwa. Isiri kuti tanhai dzamunosvikira. Munenge maendesa kumwana kuchikoro kuye kwamusingakwanise. 1 o'clock dzachaya. Baba avauya nebenzi vatora mwana wavo, vauya neGP yavo, vauya nehama yavo vatora. Kamwana kenyu kari kungotenderera. Hamuna mota, hamuna anotora mwana. That's pathetic. Ndo vana vari kuzoabuswa ivavo. Nekuti kana pazowana mumwe anoziva kuti kamwana aka kanotenderera nekuti wana akana transport, wana akana zvekudya, anotadza sei kuita zvaanoda. Ngatifungei kwatiri. Ikoko, bloom where you are. Why should you bus your children? Ikoko ngatigadzirisei zvikoro. Ikoko ngatigadzirisei nharaunda dzedu kuti kuGlenora ndezvekuGlenora, kuGlenview ndezvekuGlenview, kana kuri kuMablelane ndezvekuMablelane. Ngatiregei kufambisa vana vachipedzesera vasangana nandaisireva. Vamwe vari kufa, vamwe vari kurepwa, vamwe vari kutsakatika. Zvakaoma.
Thank you very much, my son. Shamwari Mwanaskana and Childline, as you also answer that question, I would also like you to kind of give us tips on, especially for the children themselves, on how to, I'm failing to word this, how to approach an adult or approach someone that you feel comfortable with and begin to explain to them what you've experienced and know that you are safe and that you are loved. How do children get out of that mentality? Because a lot of the times when you have been abused, it often comes with a threat. If you tell, I will. If you tell, I will. How do we start to undo all those threats and make the children comfortable enough to tell their stories?
Thank you, Candace. Firstly, allow me to remind you of our theme today, which is saying, my child, your child. We believe it takes a family to raise a daughter or a son, but a community to raise a child or children. It is everybody's role in the community to make sure children are protected from any form of abuse. Whether you are standing in a profession that is in sport, in music, in art, even in the private or in the public sector, everybody has an equally critical role to make sure children are protected in an all-rounded way. Secondly, allow me to say, for us to be able to ensure that these abuses are somehow curbed in our communities, I would like to say that, firstly, the perpetrator who subjects a child to abuse is a person in the community. It could be a brother, a father, a mother, a sister, an uncle, or a neighbor, or even a church leader. We are the ones that need to stand up and own up and speak against abusing our children. We are the front leaders in protecting these children from any form of abuse. Thirdly, I would like to speak to parents, and I appreciate the point that Mike Samba has raised, that we need to create relations between parents and their children. Mubereki kana wakagara nemumba, make sure your child is comfortable and free enough to engage you in a friendly conversation. I know sometimes when conversations are lifted in these households, my parents, we tend to be authoritative. Ndinobva ndatoshandisa izwi rekuti mwana nyarara, mwana achatokwanisa kutaura. The minute we create such an environment, mwana anoita close out, they fear kuya kuzokuudzai. Most of these abuses, sometimes they occur right under our roofs. You find with my cases of sexual abuse, if you really look at their statistics, mazhinji anoitika with close relatives. Ma stranger abuse, anenge ari mashoma kazhinji kacho. It's because vana vedu havana that kind of relationship that allows them to reach out to us. So sometimes kana uchinzwa mwana achitaura, let us listen to understand rather than listen to respond. Because sometimes we fail to pick on the important message in whatever the conversation may be because we want to listen to answer. Let us learn to listen to understand the message in the conversation. And then to the children themselves, I would also want to speak to you because you are the ones who are here and you've got access to speak to your peers out there. My colleague Ataura Akati, peer-to-peer is one strategy that they have noted to be effective. And us as well as Shamare Manaskana, we have those peer-to-peer platforms. There is need to create mass safety nets within your communities as children that are also protective and responsive of any forms of abuses. When you find your peer who presents my tendencies or my behaviors of abuse, be friendly enough. Do not jeer or do not mock them because Awuya are dressed up in a funny way or he or she is behaving in a funny way. Be the bigger person, let out the olive branch and hear why your colleague or your peer is being the way that they are. And if they are, trusting enough to open up to you, be somebody who exercises confidentiality. Monanenga ku entrust in confidence. Don't go and tell the whole school kuti ningindo zvakaitwa. Kana waona the abused person or the survivor ari kutadza kuudza an adult, be the intermediate ipapo. Mubatsire, I will assist you to go and report, either to the school authorities or to somebody in the family that you can trust. Remember, I indicated with some of the abuses, they occur right in the home, and there are issues of threats. If you tell somebody, I'll kill you. If you tell someone, I'll harm you. If you tell someone, I'll harm your siblings. So sometimes our survivors are forced to protect the perpetrators because aninga achichka the threat given to them. So kana ukaona zvakadaro, find someone that you trust, be a peer or someone in the community, in the church that you trust kuti akubatsire. And also, I've also seen in some of the groups that I have engaged, writing down. Sometimes speaking out in a conversation might be difficult. Find somewhere pretty safe to write and hand to someone that you trust. Once they read that note, they'll be able to find somebody that can come through and assist. But my word today as I hand over the mic is, do not keep quiet when you see abuse being perpetrated. Be in the closest or be in the farthest person in the community. Be the change that you really want to see in the lives of our children. Be the speaker, be the voice, be the mic. Don't keep quiet. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to carry forward from where my colleague was just highlighting. As Childline Zimbabwe, we're excited to note that the government of Zimbabwe is moving towards talking about issues of mandatory reporting of child abuse cases. Kudara, it was not a crime for you not to report, but we're moving into an era that if you see a child being abused and you do not report it, or if you have knowledge of a child who's being abused and you do not report it, you may be charged. So I also want to talk to issues of duty bearers, stakeholders in the child protection system. Let us be accountable. We've often heard of cases that have been reported, but no action has been taken. We've often had cases of sexual abuse that are happening in communities, and the perpetrators are seen walking in the streets few days later. So, in order to end child abuse, in order to reduce abuse, we need to become an accountable society. Let us have passion about ensuring that children are protected. Let us have passion about ensuring that the law takes its course whenever children have been abused. And to children out there, you will always be threatened by perpetrators who may say, if you report, I'll do this to you. But one thing about reporting saves a life. Once you have reported, there will always be people who will be there to assist and ensure that you are safe. Sometimes it may be difficult to report because you are scared of being victimized. We have so many platforms in our country that you can report. I'm going to talk about the suggestion boxes that are found at police stations, whereby you can make anonymous reporting. I'll also reiterate on our 116 free phone as Childline Zimbabwe that you can report and speak about abuse anonymously. So there is no need for us not to report cases. Let us join hands as communities and make it a mantra that whenever you see a child in an unsafe circumstance, you make it your personal responsibility to report. That is when we can start to talk about ending child abuse. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, please could you repeat that number for us just one more time? And a bit slower for anyone who's trying to take it down.
So you can call us for free on Childline Zimbabwe. We have a national helpline, which is 116. It is 24 hours. It is for children to call and talk about anything. It is not only limited to abuse, because we know of issues of mental health that are being spoken about, issues of emotional trauma that children might be going through. So children are free to call us for free on that number, which is 116. Thank you.
Thank you. Shamwari Mwanaskana, how do people get in touch with you as well?
We do have a toll-free number. Unfortunately, I do not have it noted down at the moment, but you can take advantage of our digital platforms where you can get hold of us at Shamwari Mwana, which is on Twitter. You can also get us on Facebook, which is Shamwari Mwanaskana, and you can also visit our offices in Chitungwiza at number 143 Liwayo Road in Unit F, or Murewa, our Town Council office in Murewa. We also have got an office in Chiredzi for those that would want assistance in Chiredzi. But we are saying, get hold of us in any of these platforms. You will be able to get help. We offer 24-hour support services, psycho support services to victims, survivors, and family as well, for them to be able to overcome the trauma experienced and ensure that they proceed with their life in a healthy and healed life.
All right, thank you very much. And finally, to our two students, in conclusion, what role do you believe you as young people have to play in ending child abuse in our communities, our societies, our schools?
Okay, I strongly believe that we as students are our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper. So we should make it a point that we should ask each other, like I said, how are you physically, how are you emotionally, how are you mentally, how are you spiritually? Because sometimes we're often asked, how are you? And then people say, I am fine, of which most of the time that is a lie. Students are not fine. So we should make it a point to constantly check on each other and ask each other how we're feeling really. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentlemen.
I personally think it's now time to be fearless as a whole, because a lot of people really haven't received enough education on child abuse from the superiors. It's a case of, well, you have something in your head. A lot of people go through childhood trauma. A lot of people go through depression, but the people have ego, people have pride, and telling someone about yourself is something that's very, 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 sometimes these things are emotional, and giving off something like that, a load like that to someone else, you might find it not relevant. But I think it's now time to work together, and with the education that we have received from everything here, I'm sure we can enlighten some of our subordinates and some of those students that we left at school. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much to my panelists. Please give them a round of applause as they leave the stage. Thank you all for your insight and for being part of the discussion. Thank you very much. You may leave the stage. Please give them a louder round of applause for all their insight. Just a quick reminder of those numbers. The toll-free number for Childline is 116, and there was a number that was given on behalf of Amai Auxilium Mnangagwa, which is toll-free 575. Let's make sure we're making use of those platforms. Also, Shamwari Yemwana Skana is at Shamwari Yemwana on Twitter and Shamwari Yemwana Skana on Facebook. I hope we are able to utilize those platforms and start to discuss more, report more, and create an abuse-free future for our children. I will hand over back to our MC, Mr. Banda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was the discussion. A lot of takeaways came up there as we had representatives from organizations that are in the thick of things as regards the issue of the day: anti-girl child abuse, forced marriages, child labor. And so we really benefited, I hope, from this discussion chaired by Candice Mwakalielye. Thank you very much, Candice. When I grow up, I hope I will moderate like you. Mai Chisamba was on the panel, but before that, she had actually prepared a speech for us, a presentation for us. And I think it is only fair that we ask Mai Chisamba now to come up in her own right as Mai Chisamba, Nemanzguma Kukutu, to give us her presentation. Candice, waka vaccinate where? Waka vaccinate where? Do you microphone yako kai? Oh. Thank you. Michael, is this a sanitizer? Kana kuti imvura yakangoiswa sipo. Huh? Imvura ine sipo. Mike Samba. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Dr. Rebecca Chisamba.
Sezvanambotaura kuti basa rangu nderekukudzidzisai nokuzvidzidzisa inini kuti tinogona kuita zvese zvatinoda tichitaura chidevere kana kuti tichitaura chishona kana tichitaura mimwe mitauro iyoyi, asi hazvireve kuti hatifanire kutaura chirungu. Kana tichitaura chirungu ngatichibhurei zvanga zviita Candice, kana tichitaura French ngatibhurei, asi ngatidadei nezvatinazvo. Nhasi Love Mobanda andiwanira padyo, andiri kungondidaidza asi pano ndo pana ndichifanira kunge ndiri nenyaya yekukurudzira. Chandinoda kutanga ndataura ndiregai ndicherechedze utekwa-tekwa hwese huri pano, hwevaita basa irori, hwevanhu vatiunganidza pano, vanhu vese, varume, vasikana, vakomana. Munoziva kana vana vachitamba kumahumbwe, vachingotamba kumahumbwe, havazomboziva kuti vaakugona kubika, havachazomboziva kuti vaakugona kuita zvavanotarisirwa, nekuti vabereki vanenge vasingauye kuzotarisa kuti wabika zvakanaka, waita zvakanaka. Ndosaka ndauya nhasi ndakanzwa kuti vana vangu 11 chete vachibatsirwa nevanga vachivabatsira, vanga vachipromota, vachiita sei, vakabatana vakaisa rwiyo rwataunganira pano nhasi. Iri ndo rinonzi shura padunhu, kunzwisisa, kukura mubasa, nekuti vakawanda vanofunga kuti kana vari mubasa vari kukwikwidzana, vasingazive kuti aiwa, hatingakundwe kane makomo anopanana mhute. Tikashanda pamwe chete tichipanana mhute, tinoenderera mberi. Pandakambotanga ndapiwa this mandate yekuti ndiite mitauro yemuno, ndakanogogodzawo padhora bosi, ndikati I am a teacher in my own right, I can do English programs. Vakati aiwa kamai, mindset yenyu yakuda kugadziriswa, ndimi matokangatsa. Iye zvino kana vanhu vakasangana neni ndine munhu ka, vakati vanoti hi, how are you, vachimoresa munhu wandinaye, asi kana vasvika pandiri vanoti Mike Samba makadei, and I love that and I like that. Vana ava vakaimba rwiyo rwekuti hanzi Regai Dzive Shiri. Tsume yacho ndakubva ndaipedzisa, nokuti Love Mobile ndanga asiri kuipedzisa panapa. Inonzi Regai Dzive Shiri, mazai hana muto. Saka vana ava vari kurodzwa vari vana vadiki, tiri kuzosangana nerufu, nekuti vana ava kunyange mabhonzo avo anenge asina umai. Ndoma mukadzi weye wamunenge marodza nekuti mashayiwa sadza, zvida pada pamusha muri kudya sadza nehupfu nekuoma kweupenyu, mosungirira mwana sehwai yechibayiro. Saka isi tiri kuti maita zvakanaka, nekuti vaimbi vedu vanotitandadza, vanotitsura, vanoimba. Munoziva kuimba kune simba rakakura. Ukasvika pamusha pane chipari, unonzwa turwiyo tunoimbwa nemadzimai iwayo. Kana ukasvikawo pana baba vari kushungurudzwa, unonzwa tunziyo. Saka rwiyo rwenyu rwamaita vanangu runoda nyasha, runoda ropafadzo, nekuti vana muZimbabwe vari kutambudzika. Inini mubasa rangu imomo ndakambotaura nevamwe vana vachindiudza kuti Mai Chisamba, mufunge kana vabereki vedu vachitidaidza isusu, tinoziva kuti tinoda kutukwa kana kuti tinoda kutumwa, zvinhu zviri izvozvo. Hatimbotaurirawo vana vedu kuti I love you. Vanotozonzwa nechikomana chiye chakazomurepa kuti pane chinonzi I love you. Munomboudzawo vana venyu here ivavo kuti munovada, nekuti dzimwe nguva mwana ari kutatarika nekuti haafunge kuti munomuda. Muudzeiwoka kukana aita zvakanaka munomutendawo here, munotarirawo here basa rake. Kukana afoira, kune vamwe vana vakakundikana, vanhu vese havasi academic, mwana akakundikana kuchikora anotambura neripoti yake, anoshaya kokuenda, achibuda tumusodzi tuye tusingadonhe, tinonzi tumunyaira dovi, tuye twekuti munenge muchingoona kuti ari tiere but tatoradza kudonha, achishaya kokuenda neripoti yake. Saka ndiri kuti vabereki, vana vedu vanogona vana vedu, vana vedu vasingagone vana vedu, ngatiregei kuregedza vana vachishungurudzwa. Vanenge vari kumamisha nekumwe kwese uku, mwana asati aenda kuchikoro, unze nonoita miforo yako miviri, enda unosakura usati waenda kuchikoro, enda unochera mvura. Iye zvinotani vamwe vana vakazvarwa vakunzi ana chibhorani, nekuti chikomana chepachibhorani chiri kufanira kubata mugoro, chiri kubva changoti ndakubatirai mugoro, ndakubatirai mugoro, vese ivavo rabonde. Saka isi tiri kuti pakuimba kwamuri kuita uku muri kutsura, nekuti kana munhu ari mumotikari make anenge achivanzwa na Selma neshamwari dzake vachiimba, kana munhu ari kumba kwake, kana ari kupi, ndirwo rwiyo rwakanaka. Asi inini ndiri kuda kuti kuvaimbi vedu, kana muchida kuti isusu tigokuti muri serious, imimi take yourselves seriously. Nekuti dzimwe nguva munomirira muimbi 3 hours asati asvika, ari kuda kuimba kwaMutare na8, ari kubva kuHarare na9, kana madauro amatadza. Asi kakuungana kamaitaka kekubatsirana tiri kuona kuti mune vanotaura rurimi rwechindevere, mune vanotaura vechishona, mune mafundisi, mune chii, ndiko kubatana kwakanaka ikoko. Handidi kutaura zvakawanda nekuti zvakawanda zvakurukurika kare, asi pane zvimwe zvatinoda kutarisa kuti dzimwe nguva tinokurumidza kutonga tisati tanzwa. Listen before you make judgments. Always base your position on truth. Kana tichiita basa redu irori revanhu, ngatiregei kupindwa nepopularity mumusoro. Vanhu vanotiti macelebrity nai. Iwo regai vakuti macelebrity. Regai vatiti macelebrity. But iwo ukangotangisa kuzviti uri celebrity, ndokutanga kwokupera kweupenyu hwako. Ndokutanga kupera kwemukurumbira wako. Anditika hakuna munhu anomukurumbira, munhu wese ane mukurumbira wake. Asi ndisati tigara pasi, regai nditi vanangu muitirwe nyasha, ropafadzwai, rwiyo rwenyu rwuka, ndikarega kuisa kampururu ndingange ndatapudza. Chigutiro! Chigutiro! That's us. Ndozvatoita. Aikona kuti well done, chigutiro chiri kupi?
Tavanzwa Mike Samba chiringazwa
vadikani kana taita zvinoendeka zvikuru sei tiri paZimbali Gardens, chiringazuva chiya chinokwikwidzana nesu. Ndine urombo chiringazuva chiye chabva chatsuka chikakwata. Ndini wenyu Rebecca Chisamba.
Thank you very much. Mike Samba.
Yo.
Nikitanga chikuti Regai Dzive Shiri ndo zita realbum ka vabva vazotipa zita racho rese.
Asi iwe sa MC unopedzisa? Iwe sa MC kaunozoti?
Regai Dzive Shiri ka.
Masaya namuto.
Matauro namutauro wenyu ka. So isusu would then say that let them be birds, eggs have no soup.
Ndimi Mr. Trotsky ren.
Totaura namutauro wedu.
Ndo wenyu.
Matauro wenyu.
Thank you Mr. Trotsky.
Thank you very much. Birthday rinonzi chiko muchishona.
Izuva rakazvarwa kare Bhavard.
Zuva rakazvarwa munhu. Mike Samba wakazvarwa 21 October. Hatizivi gore racho 21 October. Saka
69 years ago.
69 years ago. So 21 October in next week tinenge tisipo. So ladies and gentlemen, today we would like to say in advance, happy birthday Mike Samba. Sambirai. Hampa yavo. Totenda Mai Gumbanjera. Totendawo Mrs. Evelyn Tinashe.
This is
Mai, the woman behind Power Chance, bringing the president in Maya.
Indava.
Thank you very much. Nechiringa zuva birthday cake icho chatsvuka chikakwata.
Andina mashoko. Mandichikora mandigora kunorira. Yabva yauya iri mbizi, ndini mamadhuve. Mbizi yakanatsa dondo. Ropafadzwa mwanangu. Andina COVID uya zvako.
Sanitizer iri kupita spray. Sanitizer iri kupita spray apa. Unzai sanitizer display. Thank you very much, Mazita, Mike Samba, Nemanzwa Matipa, and that advice to our musicians, our celebrities. And thank you very much, Mike Gumbanjera. Zodanzi ndimakabika kekiri, ndimakagadzira kekiri. Totinda neunyanzvi wenyu. Mai Kachirekwa, thank you very much for organizing. Let's have a photo opportunity. Mike, where are Bagaba? Mike Gumbanjira, where are Baba? Photo opportunity. And she's the baker. In English, Mukazaka bakeress. She's the bakeress. And thank you very much. Mike Gumbanjira, 14 January, Monyora Pasi. 14 January, Monyora Pasi. Monyora Pasi. Batai Manzwi. Right, Zaganaka, Gomana. Vangwata ranzi inonzi chiko misodzi yanzi isingazobudi inonzi chi. Haisiyo imanje iri kubudai. Hanzi chi tonzi chimai? Hanzi timisodzi tisingabudi tonzi chi? Tumunyera dovi. Ko inobuda inonzi chi yamuri kuchemai. Yatotesa mask. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now we've heard the landmark address from our guest of honor. And now we want to hear the song from the album Regai Dzive Shiri. Zvanga zvisingaiti, there was 0.00% chance kuti tingaende tisina kunzwa song iyoyo. Zvanga zvisingaiti. Muchishona tinoti song iyoyo takutoinzwa. Minister Maendere, uyai mutipe zvakare nyaya yerwere irworwi. Mobva mati pasa kunonzi kulonja kusuma. Mobva mati suma. Anditi, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, tinotenda mama maichisamba nekuti ropafadza nemazwi amataura. Pandambotaura mamusicians akaimba parwiyo urwu ndanga ndacharika ndakutaura shonaka Solomon Chimbetu na Progress Chipfumo ndo vamwe vaimbi vatinawo parwiyo urwu. So on behalf of Power Giants, on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Kachirekwa, today we present to you for the first time the video of the song Regai Dzive Shiri. Let's watch, enjoy, and share the song and share the message. Thank you.
Batane maoko tikunde ihondo mambo. They are all we have. Let's save them from the predator. They ain't just no regulars. Vasiye vakure vanava shavarobotsa vachiri vadiki.
Regai Dzive Shiri Masai hana mutu Vapei mukana vadzidze Vakure mangwana jeke Inzwa itsitsi madzibaba Ivaine moyo madzimai
Vana chipo chinobva kuna Nyadenga Musakanganwe vana musaro Vana ndio vatungamiri vemangwana Vachazovei Maita uori wekupinya vana Ndivo uori wemandiriri Mwana ochema achitindapiwa murume Na baba na mai Dochi chocho Siena inazo Zinu zetinda Zinu sakasara kai Siena inazo Stop it
Stop child abuse Mirai, mirai, mirai Girl child, boy child Vesemana Mirai kukinya vana
Sungai munu ngakuruwe
Musikana Mukoma Stop child abuse Stop child abuse
Zeti munu ngabatwe
Girl child zethu child Vesemana Mirai kukinya vana Yeyela kuhlukumeza abantwana Musikana Mukamana
Thank you so much. So much, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is
Iowa.
There's a collaboration that is coming your way. Solomon Tukunzi, Minister
Zatakuita ka.
Anita Jackson.
Zatakuita.
The concept is no.
Takanzwa kambwaka. Chakanaka mukaka urungweneka. Milk cannot be salted. Aiwa, kakanaka kambaka. Ngakatengwe hako kambaka, ngakatengwe hako. So what we are going to do is we want to see these artists who are here. We are here, Papa. Iwe, cue a song yacho futhi. Cue it. Ma artists acho. Hey, ma artists acho. We are panapa. Mo, anze boarding master kamunoza. Ma boarding master ononezeka nechirunguka. Saka anze line up in alphabetical order, starting with the tallest. We are about 20 meter line up in alphabetical order, starting with the tallest. We are bana. Lari gunda ribo. Lari unaenda kokutanga kujika. Umwe ndiani Anita Jackson hapana. Michael Maendere ndiye next ka. Selma over hapa nditi. Ufungisai over hapa. Talent anishama. Huh? Maiwe. Hey. Tarenda. Saka tarendano ya papi. Alphabetical order. Tarendano ya papi. Motukuzi. Toshanza mtukuzi and manata. Which one do we use? To know, do you come before my but anyway, it's after my endere because manata is still after my endere. Right. Ladies and gentlemen. These are 4 of the artists involved. Huh? Ndatengira pa 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the artists involved. It must be that vaccine. Vaccine in a SIPO and in something else. 5 of the artists. Anditika, I want my round of applause for each one. Larry Gunda. Uyo tinomziva. From the days he served his apprenticeship with the Minded Brothers, he did the hard yards, Amos, and now he's a brand in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Michael Mahendere. Pesa papanda na picture, I thought he was taller than this, but no, I didn't mind it. And ladies and gentlemen, the daughter of the man, and today an artist in her own right, a trailblazer. She grows from strength to strength. Selma Mtukuti. Tarenda. Shama, and tell us about you. And Santa Kunzweo. Vamwesi wakamwendipo masongs. Unofana kuya ne CD. Oti mdara mboterere. So that next function ndozotaura around you. Ladies and gentlemen, Tarenda. And finally, from the Zimbabwe Gospel Royal Family, a senior member of that. She has won all there is to win Zomo Gospel. Manama, Mazima, multi-award winning artist, ladies and gentlemen, Fungisai Zakawapano Mashavave. So, Zatakuita, now, just to confirm, kuti vanawa ndo vakaimba song iyi. Muri kuona, because zvinhu zvingonyepera vanhu zvakawanda-wanda. Zvinhu zvingonyepera vanhu zvakawanda-wanda. To confirm that 99.9% the alleged are the actual. Muchishona kuti zviri urwu, zviri mavari. Shamari, you played the song. Anditika? And our artists vanoita zvavanoda vakada kudhensa vakada kudii, but tichiona miromo yacho kuti zveshuwa zviri musong ndo zviri mavari. Toda kuona 99.9%. DNA ndio toda kuona pana. Ladies and gentlemen, Regai Dzive Shiri. The launch.
Batane maoko sekunde hondo mambo. They're all we have. Let's save them from the predator. They ain't just no regulars. Vasiye vakure vanava shavarobotsa vachiri vadiki.
vachazovei maita uori hwekubinya vana ndivo uori hwemandiriri mwana ochema achiti ndapiwa murume nababa namai ndochichocho siyanai nazvo zvinhu zvedzinza zvinhu zvakasara kare siyanai nazvo stop it stop child abuse mirai 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 girl child boy child beserana mirai kubinya vana sungai munhu ngakuruwe musikana mukoma stop child abuse stop child abuse leti munhu ngabatwe girl child zetu
Thank you. Thank you. Here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, our musicians, sorry. Dzokerai futaba, sorry. Tikuda enko, sorry. Dzokerai photo opportunity. Babana Mai Kachirekwa, uyai and have a photo opportunity with our musicians. Babana Mai Kachirekwa, our host, uyai for a photo opportunity with our musicians. Larry Gunda, Minister Michael, Tarinda. Zdarago yoga. Shagarimagan. Tarinda. Fungisai and Selma. Na baba na Maika Chidekwa. Tichiri papo as you were, Pastor Namai Gumbanjera. Uyai, mujoine. Go. Uyai mujoine. Thank you. Toramba triba banzi wamanatsa hanzi uyaya pa. Wamanatsa Aiwa. Hanzi ngapinda ke manatsa. Manatsa ngauya pa. Maichi Samba. Chiringa zuva chakwata. Uyaya pa. Maichi Samba. Vanopromota shona vanomira papi. Vanomira pakati. Maichi Samba ndimune yese. Mira papa. Right. Zinde. Dingindira. Right. Yakadi picture. Micah Sunday. Join I will picture you. right. Thank you very much. Pano watasiri here. Ndiani? Huh? Power Giants family, all right. Power Giants family rukuya. Pano munhu atanzi ninda siri kwa yeye. Nasi nombozona naye. Saka vamwe vese ngavachipa apa. Vasiri musicians. Vasiri musicians. Iwo rambo ripewa. Vasiri musicians. Right. Musicians ngauye. Musicians ngauye nevano. Thank you. Musicians, please remain. Power Giants family. Where are you? Power Giants family. I think Vamuenda stage. Where are you? Quickly, please. Maybe mommy stage. Power Giants family. You see, because these people are always on stage, so it's easier. It means you guys you won't end up stage. Just feel the stage. Feel the stage. Power Giants family. I think if you push in, you need to push in. Right. Baba na mai ne team yenyu. Zakare. Are we done? Thank you very much. Before I retire the musicians, anyone else? That's done. Thank you very much. Michael Maendere, Fungisai Zakobana Machavave, Selma Mtukudzi, Larry Gunda, Tarenda, and the Power Giants family. Thank you very much. Toda vote of thanks is Zino. Tichi Pedisa Urongwa. Vote of thanks. Pastor Kevin Gumbanjera. We are going to be vote of thanks. Tika Pedza closing prayer. My roads are closing prayer.
Pamsoroi vanhu vanokudzwa vose. Tida kutendai nekuve nesu nekuve pano and making this event a success. Dai taronga event yedu poregera kuita anouya, tingadai tatambisa nzvimbo, tingadai tatambisa nguva, tingadai tatambisa mari, but ndimaita kuti event yedu inge iri pano. Toda kutenda vakuru vegovernment, maministries ese ehurumende, anga ari panapa, maministry anoona nezvevana, anoona nezvemutemo, anoona nezvekudzidza kwevana, anoona nezveutano, ministry yemadzimai. Toda kutenda ma-NGOs, ma-non-governmental organizations edu vauya kuzotitsigira, ma-non-governmental organizations anomirira unhu hwevana, anomirira ma-rights evana, anomirira kuprotectwa kwevana. Thank you so much for being here with us. Toda kutenda also ve-industry, ve-business, ve-commerce, vanga vaine spano vatibatsira. Also want to thank media. Ukaita nyaya yako pakashaya munhu anoitaura, unosara unotozvibvunza kuti asi yamboitika here, even iwewe unogona kudhauta kuti yaitika here zveshuwa, because hapana ari kuiripota. But having this story, towana vanhu vanoitaura, it gives us more power to wanna do more, because you know someone somewhere achazvinzwa, and someone somewhere was actually trained kuzvisvitsa ikoko. Tinoda kutenda isusu sema-artists. I'm not talking on behalf of artists, but I'm an artist. We are so much grateful. Nekuwana an opportunity yekuti chinhu chanzi ndechema-artist chinounganirwa nevanhu vanokudzwa kudai so. We feel important as well. But on behalf of Power Giants, we also want to thank the artists. Though tiri kutendwa isusu ma-artists, but toda kutenda also the artists. Pangadai pasina anything to launch. Ingadai yangonzi ngatimbosangana itimboita kabrai nekumbogocha nekudidididi. Pani pasina anything to launch. Toda kutenda also ma-artists edu who managed to come it wasn't easy zvasiri nyore kuti unotora munhu anozikanwa nezimudhanzo womuti uyakapa napastor ninga apapa pastor ninga wacho vari bow futi because panoitwa kunge pane ma-demarcations anoshamisira stereke but we are all artists, we are all musicians. So takangoshare nema-artists edu vakati, if it's for children, we are coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for kubatanidza pfungwa dzenyu. Thank you for bringing in your gifts. Ana mama vedu vari pano vatitsigira. Nevamwe vazongonzwa kuti kune event akati kana kuchitwa zvevana ndato-invited. Thank you so much. Atinambotsamwa kuti wauya usina kudedzwa. Tiri kufara kuti wauya tatakukanganwa. Thank you so much vanhu vaMwari. Toda kutendawo vemachechi vanga vachitibatsira kuita munamato. Tinanga vachitibatsira kuita maprayers ekuti event ino ibudirire. Thank you so much. Tozotendawo also baba namai Kachirekwa Power Giants. Vakauya nevision yekuti chinhu chinge chiripo. Vachitaura vachiti ndo zvatiri kufunga. Chaita nge pfungwa. But right now takagara mune chinhu chavakafunga. Takatochibata izvo so. Ndikutotaura nechinhu chavakafunga ichi. Makamera atori zvimwe zvavakafunga. Saka vakaita a thought. Ndobva thought iyo yave a reality. Chinhu chinotobatika. Tati chitamba song apa. Yanga isipo. Saka tachitamba pfungwa. Anditi. Saka da kutenda vakarota pfungwa idzodzo. Vakazviona zviri reality. Vakasacrifice time yavo. Vachiburitsa mari. Dzimwe nguva taifonerana usiku. Kuma 2 AM. Unza ndatomuka for basa. Ugototi inasandarara. So that sacrifice tirangovatenda vanhu vaMwari. Everyone else ari pano ndinogona kunge ndakanganwa kutaura but basa rawaita chese chawaita even chausina mbotaura chawangoita secretly Mwari anorekodha. Mwari ane system yekurekodha. May the Lord bless you. VeZimbali Gardens vatipa nzvimbo vakatiitira madeals ari right stereke. Thank you so much for giving us the place. Mwari akuitire zvakanaka. MC Mwari akuitirewo zvakanaka. Kazhinji munhu chaiye anowanzokanganwikwa nekuti ndiye anovhara. Toda kutenda vese ma-service providers vatipa PA system, vatipa ma-screens, everything vari kushuta ZBC, ma-media house ese ndakungodzokorodza but we thank you all so much. Mwari akuitire zvakanaka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Kumbanjira. Tanga tisina taura kurecognize maichisamba tansina kurecognize tansina kuita sei tanga sina kucherechedza zuva rese tanga sina kucherechedza vemusasa project vari pano Mafume Musara veku Musasa project. Thank you very much. Vane idress green. Thank you very much. Musasa project vauya opano. Pastor Kumanjira, next time kana ndini MC musanditende because it's possible kuti pamwe muwanomo pane mwana uzongosumuka ake ozongo offer 5 times as much. So kana matenda matovhara mavhara mwena musatende munongosiya zvakadaro. Thank you very much. Mungade kuziva kuti urongwa hwese hwataita nhasi uno maichisamba nesimba kumana kubva pavataura paipa tangotaura shona tose but tokanganwa kuti pana mumwe asinganzwi shona. Urongwa hwese hwataita nhasi uno kusvika pari zvino tiri ku nomboza kuti tanzi kukotsverwa kuitwa sekusponzwa but apa tiri ku we've been covered. The whole event since we started has been carried live by ZTN, our media partner. ZTN! Tinovatenda vaita kuti zvatiri kuita pano zvionekwe muHarare kudzimwe nzvimbo dzemuZimbabwe nepasi rose nenyaya dzavo dze-live streaming idzidzi. Saka we've been able to reach a worldwide audience. Thank you very much, ZTN, for the coverage. Takuita closing prayer. Munamato wokupedzisira. Wokupedzisira usisi right nenge takufa. Munamato wokupedzisira. Munamato wokuvhara. Chirongwa closing prayer. Mai chirodza. Chirodzero. That's why. And then you might do closing prayer.
Let us all pray. Thank you, Lord, for this day you've allowed us to have. It is not by power nor by might that we're in this place, but it is by your Spirit. We thank you for everything that has taken place today. Thank you for each and every one that made time to be here, to join us in advocating for this good cause. May you meet us all at our point of need, and may you open doors for all that no man will ever shut. As we leave this place and go back to our spheres of influence, may we be the voice of the voiceless and continue to protect our future, who is our children. May more individuals be raised in the government sector, private organizations, and communities to protect the inheritance that you gave to us, which is our children. We honor you. We bless your name this day forward. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of the proceedings, ladies and gentlemen. The power giants vati ukama igasha unozadziswa nokudya. Relationships are half, they are fulfilled by eating. Ko munoseke izve isu taturikira. Saka